Call
such
is
a
being
powerful thing.
recorded.
When you hear the affirmation coming from the ring, it just inspires and motivates. And man, you do that very well, Kathy. I
Every
really, really love the way you bring me to the boxing ring.
I'm so glad you do. Listen, every good wife knows how to bring out the attributes of the king so that everybody can see it shine. That's what every good wife
Love
does.
it. Wow. And with that being said, hey everyone, love you. If you don't already know, let me tell you, you are the kings and the queens of cleanse, of knowing your blood type. And if you're brand new on the call and you don't know, man, you are in the right place at the right time. I'm not talking about myself, but there are a bunch of there's a lot of great stewardship happening in the economy. There's a lot of great people. I heard the thundering roar of so many of our leaders on the call. I haven't heard their voices in a while, but I'm telling you, or just hearing the names, I heard the Deldonados, man. I'm like, what? They're on the call, and there's so many. If I start naming names, I'll get in trouble because and people will be like, "I'm on the call. I'm on the call." If you are on the call, there's a post that I put up just probably like 5 minutes ago or so, just sharing. Some of you aren't able to get to the recording. If you are on the call, feel free to drop it in that comment that I just made on a kind of lifestyle Facebook page and say you're on the call. If you don't have recordings, please just let me know the recording that you want, because right now we're having a just small little glitch, right, with the app, and you can get the recordings. But let me dive right in, because today feels like a super Friday. And let me tell you, I'm not pulling back from saying that we are in harvest season, right? The momentum is high. Things are happening. People are curious. Transformations is happening. People are finding resolution, right, to what it is that they have been going through. And it's working because of our due diligence, our perseverance, right? Following systems. Now I want to dive into something, and I want to thank everybody who was on last Friday's call. God has shared something with me. Let me say, message always starts with M-E. The word, not just the word, but the message itself. So it's something that God has been sharing with me for the past couple months. And I'm trying my best in being an intercessor, whatever you want to call me, right? And getting the message out. Because I know message starts with me, but it may not just be for me. So I want to thank everyone who was on last Friday's call to unmute their mic and pour in to what I had not finalized, but I think I got it, right? And I heard from Dr. Betty, I heard from Diamond Bernadine, I heard from Kayada, and it was just, man, I like to call it an overflow, a well-driven well of water that was poured in that allowed me to finalize what it is that I'm going to talk about today. Let me start out by saying this, even myself, and I'm taking a breather because I really have to wrap my mind around this. Most people, you all, don't realize this one thing that I'm about to say, and I hope you have a pen and paper. I want you to write down personal convenience versus systems. Personal convenience versus systems. Now, I want you to say that out loud to yourself so that it resonates and that you could get it, because I didn't get it. And something that my wife did around the house, and it sparked me to think about, because I'm very systematic. So, the first thought is, let me give you a back history for short. First thought is, am I good at putting out systems but not following systems? All right, whoa, God, you hit me hard. Am I good at putting out systems? Because I am very systematic, analytical, critical thinking, all of that, da. But I'm like, I have to do a chin check and like, am I good at putting out systems but not following systems. Number one. So personal convenience versus systems. Then something, I started something around the house, felt that it was working for the whole house. Go back, ask my wife, why didn't she do such a thing? And she was like, it was more convenient for me to do this. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. It wasn't the fact that I disagreed necessarily, but it was a learning curve for me because maybe whatever I did, number one, I didn't consider her personal convenience. I'm like, okay, from a leadership perspective, that's a good way to look at some things. And then from another perspective, on the other side, she was sharing with me what she valued the most. And I think this is just straight organic. I don't even think she thought a second about it. It was just personally convenient for her to do what she did. Now, I'm not going to go into details. I like keeping my house clean. And I think that's enough before I get myself in trouble. But this is my thought. Most people don't even realize it. We are naturally wired to choose convenience first. Let me tell you all, I'm still processing that, and thank you for, like I said, for the people last Friday who poured into that. I'm still processing it. We ask first, naturally, what works for me. It's normal. I'm not even taking you out of the ballpark of how we normally think. I think like that. Like, what's working for me? What's working for me should work for my team. Isn't that the frame of thought? Right? So, and a clear reversal of that is we think what works for me instead of what builds the team. Ooh, that's what God hit me with. But duplication is never lives in personal convenience. Duplication lives in systems. Personal convenience versus a system. So I wanted to kind of leave that as an anchor point for thought that most of us default to what's convenient, what feels natural, what fits our schedule, or what's easiest for us personally. But leadership that produces duplication doesn't live in convenience. It lives in a system. So I had to wrap myself and wrap my head around, and I got two sides of this message. So I want to, as a leader, and even when I do put out systems, what hit me lately and what I've been for the last post and everything, this whole funnel concept, I want you all to know that's not convenient for me. So that's my number one disclaimer. It's very uncomfortable. So I'm starting not to choose convenience because there's a trap that exists sometimes when we choose convenience. And I want to share with you some of those traps. See, we could choose convenience. We think that we're protecting ourselves from stress. That is, wait a minute. Let me say initially, that is the response, but it's a trap. But in reality, what we're doing, we're just avoiding the growth that comes from learning the system. So initially, it's like, and it's going to stress me out. I don't have the time to do all that and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But what we're doing unknowingly is avoiding the growth that comes with learning a system that probably works for everybody and make it easy on you. So here's a key insight. Convenience often makes obedience feel like a sacrifice. Let me say that one more time. Convenience often makes obedience feel like a sacrifice. Oh, I gotta go to scripture on you because God hit me in the gut with this. 1 Samuel 15th chapter, 22nd verse. To obey is better than sacrifice, and to heed is better than the fat of rams. Let me say that one more time. To obey is better than sacrifice. Obedience is better than sacrifice, right? We've heard that many times. That comes from 1 Samuel 15, chapter 22nd verse. So what is it saying? Choosing the system may feel inconvenient at first, but it's really just obedience to the process. Which would God desire? Which would God desire? Which would God desire? Is what we're taught in Scripture in alignment with convenience or sacrifice? I want you to think about that for a minute, because I really have to really process that. So it's normal to feel a certain way. So I really want to make it real, because the people on the call really make it real for me. My wife made it real for me. So God made it real for me, which is why I took my time to really put together this message. Why systems feel like a shock at first. Inconveniencing ourselves is not easy. I just want you to think about that. What? Do what? I got to do what? You asking me to do what? That's not easy. It feels like a shock to, right? It feels like a shock to the system. Why? Because it requires us to unlearn old habits. We got to unlearn some old habits. It asks us to adopt something new that feels uncomfortable. That's a natural uncomfortable feeling. It shifts the focus from me to we. Man, that feels like a shock. I got to focus on what? How many? And I don't have control. Man, that's going to be shocking at first. But that discomfort is actually a first stage of duplication and scaling. You want to take it to another level? Man, you might have to go through a shock factor at first of how well you shoot the ball and passing the ball to the system, because the system probably works for everybody. So here's the power of obedience to systems, right? Systems make duplication possible. When I see, I'm not going to say that. Let me go this direction. Obedience to the system ensures this. I'll go this direction. I want to speak the positive. Everyone speaks the same language in the system. It's so much that I'm being downloaded right now that I can't say. But you want to see some people come together, pay attention to what's going on right now in the system that we live in. And I'm not going to say nothing else. Everyone can duplicate what works. One band, one sound brings harmony. Now, some people are uncomfortable. I can't get out of there. Don't go there. Let me go here. The company that has structure that can scale beyond individual effort. It reminds me of Michael Jordan, the greatest of all time, who was, just a beast on the court. But when it came to them winning a championship or the whole team getting to where they needed to be, they needed to follow the triangle offense to win the championship. And then they took it to another level. Now, that was due to a system, due to a coach, but a lot of people got uncomfortable, including, at first, Michael Jordan. Pass me the ball. No, man, everybody can't do that. Everybody can't jump out of the gym. So that team effort is what got them the 3-peat, then the 6-peat. Greatest of all time, because he was a team player and he was a beast. Anyway, let me go back. Without systems, harvest is lost because the team has no common ground. Without systems, harvest, and we're in harvest season, it can be lost because the team has no common ground. Now, some of you will say, well, Minister Mooney, I don't have a team. Well, build one, starting with the system that you have in hand, starting with the system that's being shared with you. Habakkuk, go to scripture. Habakkuk, second chapter, second verse, second chapter, second verse. Excuse me, y'all. Write the vision and make it plain, that he may run who reads it. Systems make the vision plain enough for everybody to run with it. I just want you to imagine the economy that's coming, because there's some new people. I want to celebrate. I want to celebrate for a minute the people who's been following the system, and I see it happening. I see it. I'm so nosy, y'all. I'm peeking in on y'all page, and I'm like, look like they follow the system. Success leaves clues, right? That's what's happening. That's what's happening. So let me give you, I'm wrapping it up. I want to give you the thoughts of a personal convenience versus a system. And why I'm hoping he's on the call. Shout out to Brand Name Bobby. Brand Name Bobby, you all, is like, I heard the name and I'm like, dang, that's a brand, that's a system all within itself. I'm like, dang, right? But let me get back. Personal convenience versus system. So if you had your pen and paper, this is what you will need to kind of navigate on which is which. Personal convenience says this: what works for me only. Systems say what works for the team. Personal convenience is inconsistent, right? Systems are consistent. Personal convenience feels like a sacrifice. Ooh, that's always that one in the middle that hits me in the gut. It feels like a sacrifice. Systems is actually obedience. Do you ask yourself, are you just following the rules? Right? That's a hard one, y'all. Personal convenience is short-term comfort. You in your comfort zone, but it only be for a short period of time. I promise you. Right? Because as everything else is growing, you like, why is that happening for me? But we were comfortable in its short term. Systems is a long-term growth, right? Systems brings that long paper, y'all, that long-term growth. Personal convenience limits harvest. Systems multiply harvest. So here's my challenge for every leader today, and I'm speaking to the leader in you. I want you to ask yourself, am I making a decision based off of what's easiest for me or what builds duplication for my team? It is not going to be easy. I'm telling you, I'm sharing with you, there are things. I have to make a phone call this morning. There's so many things I have to do today. I have to travel. It's not, I don't want to. But is it working? Is it going to work for the team? Yes. That means writing every note, printing out paper, please look at what I shared yesterday. That'll help you bring a balance, right? The boxes, right? That's very important to balance things out. Then we don't have time. It's a comfort zone, but it can be managed, right? So this week, choose obedience to system over the convenience of self. That's my challenge to the leaders. If it feels inconvenient at first, let me share this. If it feels inconvenient at first, it's very possible that that's just the shock of growth. So my final closing is, y'all know we got 1 closing, 2 closing, 3 closings as ministers, but this is our absolutely final closing. I want to let you know that you all, convenience builds comfort. Convenience does build comfort, but obedience to systems builds legacy. Right? I'm not going to get too deep in that. If we want to scale this opportunity to its fullest potential, we must be willing to inconvenience ourselves for the sake of duplication. So with that being said, Rubies and above, I will see you on the next call. We're on the call right after this call. And to all of those that I love that are listening and you have lend me your ear this morning, I want to share with you what our CEO shares with us, that we will see you at the top, the very top, the tip top, and busting through the top. Back to you, Kathy.
Absolutely busting through the top. That was a fantastically inspired message. Thank you, thank you, thank you. No matter how many closes you have, brother, you always put a golden nugget in between each one. So you close like a minister all day long. It's all good. Listen, have a
Thank you,
great
thank
meeting.
you.
Yes, yes, yes. Have a great rest of your Friday, folks. Remember, this is the 19th of September. So you actually have 11 more days, 11 days to close this month out strong. I see, I'm like you, Minister Mooney. I am nosy. So I'm seeing and following the leaders. I am putting my path out there and wanting duplication, just like you and the rest of the diamonds, guys. Follow the diamonds they got there doing the system. So appreciate you for everything you bring to the table, Willie. Thank you for today. And remember, our opportunities are tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern. And then Sunday, 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern. These are opportunities for you to invite people to find out why we're so excited, what it is that we do for the community, and how you can grow. Okay? All you got to do is invite, take over, and do the rest for you. So have a great rest of your Friday. Make it a kind of day, and we will see you back here next time.